Well, good morning. Welcome to my office, my desk, my little bit of Bible study for this morning. What I'm looking at is really thinking about what I'm doing with the decluttering videos and how important it is to declutter your home. I know that when I do declutter and get everything organized and neat, I feel better. So I wanted to know, how can that be? Why would I feel so much better just because I cleaned up my house? Well, my house is, I don't know, I would say it borders on clean, but now I just kind of have a passion that's come upon me to do it, and I do believe it's because I feel better. And I believe that your spirit is lifted when you feel better. If you're sick, you just are kind of low and you take it easy and you're trying to reserve your energy to do just what you need to do. But when you start abounding in energy, you start abounding in creativity, and you want to know, what's that next step I can do? What is my purpose? How can I fulfill that purpose? So, in taking a look at scripture, I rediscovered some things that I already knew. And going back, I was thinking in my mind about the Proverbs 31 woman. And we look at her. If you're familiar with Proverbs 31, if you're not, let's just go into it a little bit. King Lemuel's mother came to him and sort of prophetically spoke into his life and said, "You can't be a king and be a drunkard. You will not judge wisely if you don't stay sober. That's not for you to do, to drink. Let the poor drink." And the reason was because they were, so depressed, to give them a little bit of relief from their situation, or the sick, or something like that. But you as king, you have a higher standard. You need to be sober. Then she went into what you need to do as a king in choosing a woman. Don't get entangled with women that are going to destroy you as a king. We saw this so many times in scripture where the king would get many women, or he would choose a woman that would not be profitable, wouldn't be a helpmate. And that's what the man is looking for, a helpmate. And look at Solomon. Solomon, he had plenty of women troubles. But I believe he chose all these different women for political reasons. Oh, I'll marry your daughter, the king of a foreign land. If I marry your daughter, then I'll have certain rights and privileges with you and your land and your allegiance to me as king of Israel. That was what was going on with Solomon. But when we think of Samson and Delilah, if he had not gone the way of the unrighteous, and he had not dabbled with, number one, a woman of a pagan culture. Number two, thinking that he could continually dabble with this and be rescued and delivered out of it. But anyway, so this is what she's warning him. And don't all mothers want to warn their sons? And they don't always listen, but, I think when they gain wisdom as they age. So then she said, so you're looking for a capable wife, one who's going to be focused on the issues in the home, not someone who's trying to gain status by marrying you. You are the king. And in those days, it was very important to have children. You would want to have children, I assume, with the wealthiest, most powerful men, because those are the children who are going to care for you in your old age. So these were very important things. King David told his first wife, daughter of Saul, you'll have no children. I'll give you no children. So she was never going to have a son who was going to take over the throne of David. So anyway, so there's there's a lot of prophetic layers to all of these things, but I'm just skimming the surface. And in the surface, it goes on to the woman, and I'll just read to you what it says. Who can find? Some say capable wife, some can say good wife, depending on the translation you're reading. Who can find a capable wife? Her value is far beyond that of pearls. Her husband trusts her from his heart. Now, where it says pearls, another translation says rubies. And my husband and I, if you can see, when we chose our wedding band, it has rubies in it. And it has rubies because, number one, I want to add up or be capable or be counted as a woman whose worth is far beyond rubies, because I want to be a good wife, I want to be a good homemaker, and I want to be a good daughter of God. He's placed me on this earth to do something. So I want to do the best in whatever situation I'm in. If I am teaching Torah, I want to do the best I can. If I am cleaning my house, I want to do the best I can. And, I don't want to leave corners cluttered, dark, and, dusty. So that's all a part of what I'm doing. And that's why I believe God put it in me to want to do this and to also want to help others get it done too. Because I know how great it feels for me. I know it will feel great for you too. You have your own circumstances. You can do what you can do. But I just want you to know it is possible to do something to get closer to a home that feels good. And her husband trusts her from his heart. Oh, that's a wonderful thing. If your husband can trust you, and she will prove a great asset to him. If my husband trusts me, when he leaves the house, he knows I'm being productive. He doesn't demand it. He doesn't even ask. But I'm sure wherever he's at, he's very proud of me because he knows how hard I try. I want to please him. And he wants to please me. So it's just not all me trying to be a great wife to someone who doesn't care. It's truly appreciated by him. But most of all, it's truly appreciated by God because he made me a woman. He gave me my husband. He sees my efforts. And even if my husband didn't appreciate it, even if my husband was antagonistic towards me, I would still do it. And why? Because I do first for God. I do first for God. And if I am pleasing him, then that brings joy to me and peace to my soul. So that's just a real important part of who I am. So, and then it says, she works to bring him good and not harm all the days of her life. So, and it goes on to some duties that she performs. And in verse 15 it says, it's still dark and she rises to give food to her household and orders to the young women serving her. I don't have young women serving me, so I do it myself. So I let myself know, here's what we're doing today. Number one, we're going to take that meat out of the freezer. We're going to decide what we're eating today. We're going to decide what project we're involved in today. We're also going to do, I see like two trains running in my life. There's the declutter and reorganizing side. And then there's this steady train that just keeps rolling around the track. And that's the one cleaning the daily routine of keeping the dishes done, keeping the laundry done, dusting, vacuuming, washing the floors, cleaning the bathrooms. So that train is always going. It never stops. This one is the creative side. I get to be creative on what I'm going to do next. I'm still thinking about the garage. I haven't forgotten it and I haven't done it, but it's still on the list. Do I want to get back into the closets of the rooms that I did? I did a major declutter, but my closets have things in them that I just haven't dealt with yet. So is that the way I want to go? Do I, what am I doing? This is constant. This is my train that never stops. This is daily cleaning. Over here, this is the creative side. This is the side I get to do because this train doesn't stop. I don't, park that in the station and things pile up, because when that train's parked, I don't get to be creative. I hope that makes sense to you, and that's how I see it. And I don't say choo-choo, but I could. All right, so she considers a field and then buys it, and from her earnings, she plants a vineyard. That is so good, people. And that's what, you have to apply that to your situation. You may not be buying a field and planting a vineyard, but money is, and how you handle your money is super important. Super important. Even if you have lots of money, wasting money is something that is kind of inexcusable. Sometimes we buy things that we shouldn't. Forgive yourself, move on, and do better. But that same money that you're wasting on frivolous things actually could be a donation to someone who's really in need and needs their lights on, needs their food on their table. And if you're willy-nilly just wasting money, I'm not saying don't buy what you need. I'm not saying, if you need new clothes, you have an event or something, you don't have to live like you're destitute. But here's what I'm doing, and you've heard me mention it several times. I'm not purchasing anything for the next year. So that's next February 2023. So February 1st. Because there's lots of things that go through our minds that we think we need. And then time passes and we didn't need it. We lived without it. So I'm not doing this. Well, I'm doing it to save the money, but I'm also doing it to discipline myself. Because there have been things that have come up that I thought, oh, I really need to get this. I really need this. And I didn't get it, and I'm still surviving. So I'm kind of interested to see how our spending goes down. I buy on clearance, I buy on sale, but even that is money. Jules said this, and he didn't invent this saying, but you can go broke saving money. And that's true. Oh, wow, that was half off, but you're still spending half on something you didn't need. So anyway, so that's really important. So that's like buying a field and planting a vineyard. You've increased the wealth of your home just by not spending it. I like to think of things this way. If I buy something for $19, $20, and I take it home, how much would I make in a yard sale? $2? So that thing is actually worth $2. Do I want to spend $20 on something that's worth $2 that I don't desperately need? So anyway, so she gathers her strength around her and throws herself into her work. That's passion. That's passion about your life. And that is so important. If you've lost passion in your life, just get started doing these little things, because there's a blessing in it from God. He like supercharges your blessing. It's like, if you buy a stock in the stock market and it goes up 1,000%, that's what it's like when you do something, when God is blessing that situation. Is he going to bless a trip to Target buying junk? Probably not. Is he going to bless if I stayed home and I spent that same amount of time decluttering, cleaning, doing laundry or something else? Oh yeah, greatly bless you, way more than the time you've spent on it. She sees that her business affairs goes well. Her lamp stays lit at night. So looking at the time, they didn't have electric light. They had candlelight. So that meant with whatever she's doing, her planning, her organizing, whatever she needed, she spent some time at night doing it because it was important to her. She puts her hand to the staff with flax. Her fingers hold the spinning rod. She reaches out to embrace the poor and opens her arms to the needy. So she can do that because she's not wasting her money. She has extra for the people around her. She doesn't spend it all on herself and her own desires and the latest gadget and the coolest new thing. What I'm learning is you can stop buying makeup for a while. And I've done this. I've run out of a few things since February 1st. And I go back into those stores of makeup that I have and I pull out of it. So if I come in one day with a funny color, you know I'm still working on getting through that makeup. It was makeup I didn't throw away. So I need discipline. Either I need to take care of it, I need to declutter it, or I need to use it. So I'm using what I can, what's not, I don't care too much about expiration dates, but I do care if it gets a funky smell or burns my eyes. That's when I get rid of it. All right, she makes her own quilts. She is clothed in fine linen and purple. So there's a lot to uncover in that. But that's a royal color and a priestly garment fabric. So we look at these things and we try to say, I want to be righteous and I want to handle myself in a regal manner. I don't want to just I don't use swear words because they're common. And I don't think they're funny. I don't think they're cute. I don't think they're great for emphasis. The Bible tells us not to use that type of language and not coarse jesting. And you don't laugh at off-colored jokes. You don't make off-colored jokes. I'm surprised at what I see on Facebook. Some people will post when it's like, no, that's just not quite right. Who are you trying to please? People who will look at it for 2 seconds and immediately forget it. Is it worth it? Is it worth losing blessings because you lose your righteousness? Not to me, not to me. Her husband is known at the city gates, and he sits with the leaders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them. She supplies the merchants with sashes. So he's known in the gates. He's a man of integrity. The gates, a lot of judging went on in the gates. So he's a man who can sit at the gates. He's a man who is righteous. And I know that is the one quality that attracted me to my husband was he's a righteous man, which is what I told to everyone. He's a righteous man. Above all, to me, that's important. Clothed with strength and dignity, she can laugh at the days to come. She's not really worried. She's not wringing her hands and saying, I can't possibly get through those times. How can we make it through those times? She's like, no problem. Let's do it. I'll do the best I can, and I'll be blessed doing it by God, and I will get through it. So I like to show you my computer. I hope you can see this. All right. So this is what I had. She is clothed with strength and dignity. And that's on my computer. And that's a reminder. What am I going to be doing on my computer? What am I going to be doing in my life? I am going to go about my life with dignity. And if someone's in my presence and they just feel judged by that, it's not because I'm judging them, it's because of who I am. Her children arise, they make her happy, her husband too. Oh, I skipped something. She watches how things go in her house. and not eating the bread of idleness. I love that. I love that because I do watch. I do see what's going on in my house. My goal is to know where single thing in my house is so that I don't have to wonder. My husband asked the other day, where's my motorcycle repair handbook? And I knew it's on the shelf in your rooms, and blah, 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 blah. I told him exactly where it was. That made me happy that I could do that. I couldn't have done that 2 weeks ago. The reason is that book was packed away. I unpacked a box and there's a book, and I knew that's something that he might like, so I didn't purge it. I put it on his bookshelf and he needed it, so I'm grateful to that. She opens her mouth, she speaks wisely, and on her tongue is loving instruction. And I think sorry, my dog's getting into my wires. I think we all have something to share. I think we all have something that can benefit someone else. And I think we should all be instructing. And I think the base of my instruction is Torah. It may not look like it if you don't know Torah. But if you know Torah, you know everything is coming from that place, because that's where I weigh. The Torah is the Bible. That's where I weigh my information and what I'm doing. So that's where it comes from. Many women have done wonderful things, but you surpass them all. My husband said this to me when we were first betrothed, engaged to each other. Only his version was, many daughters have done well, but you exceed them all. And that's such a wonderful thing. Such a wonderful thing of a husband to think of his wife. So it's a blessing. Charm can lie, beauty can vanish, but a woman who fears Adonai, the Lord, should be praised. So that's so true. Many of us are aging. Let's go back to the charm. There are women, and this is what she's warning her son from. Charm can lie. A woman can charm a man so easily. It's called flirting, boasting in his abilities. And I think if it's not your husband, you are out of line in doing that. You can compliment a man, but to charm is, that's kind of like witchcraft. Don't charm someone else's husband, especially. And I do watch that very carefully. In our presence, how are women reacting to my husband? Because many of them charm everywhere they go, and that is just the way they act, but not around my husband. No. And beauty can vanish. We see that happening as we age. It just is a part of life. It is a part of life. But when you see someone who's so beautiful inside that you don't see their outside, they're so righteous, humble, and thoughtful and caring and loving towards others, what have you lost? You've gained great wisdom. Give her a share in what she produces. Let her works speak her praises at the city gates. So we're back to the gates. Who's going to do that? Number one, remember, she makes sashes for the men, and her husband is in the gates. He sits in the seats of judgment, because that goes back to Proverbs 1, the righteous man. Let her works speak praises at the city gates. So she doesn't have to do it. She doesn't have to say, this is what I do, and look at me, I've done great things. She's just busy. She's going about her work. She's not, and I believe it's in Proverbs 7, it talks about a woman who's out on the streets. She doesn't stay home. She's always gossiping. She's always doing these things. And then her husband, or she, just grabs men and kisses them with open mouth and bad things. It's just a bad thing. But I have found this. I don't go out as often because I don't go shopping now, just to go shopping. Before it was kind of an activity. Oh, I'm going to go blah blah, I haven't been there in a while, and you look around and find your good deals and you purchase them and you bring them home and to your cluttered home, and you're trying to make room for them, and they didn't need to come into your home, so you would have to actually displace something in order to put that item in your home. It's like if you have a child and their birthday's coming, you want to give them more gifts. You know they're going to get more gifts. So you have to kind of clean out some of their belongings before you can bring in others. So my suggestion is don't give belongings. If there's too many, go somewhere. Do an event. Make something. Anyway, you know, there are different ways that we don't have to spoil our kids so that they fall into the clutter trap. So I hope this was interesting to you. I hope you enjoyed it. It was good for me to take another look at the Proverbs 31 woman, is what we call her. But more importantly, it was to look at King Lemuel's mother's prophetic words for him, on what kind of woman he should have. So if you enjoyed this, if this was something like a Torah study, if this is something you're interested in, leave me a comment. I think my next my next video is going to be something I sat down last night. Oh, this is a thick paper. And it's called Let's Create a Lovely Space. So that just struck me. I want to create a lovely space. When you think of the word lovely, it just feels good. It may be a girly thing, I don't know. But looking at my demographics, most of the people watching this are girls. So anyway, so I have 5 closet things to say goodbye to. Have the different things in your closet that you can easily say goodbye to. And once you get them out of the way, you can make a beautiful space, a lovely space in your closet. Turn it back into a closet. Anyway, well, hope you have a great day. Hope you have a blessed day. And hope you can declutter something. So I can't sit here all day. Let's get busy. Bye-bye.